consensus theory of truth. This is sometimes called common sense. First, a word about the term truth. It sounds very final when we use the word truth, as if every question we might want to ask has been answered. There is nothing more to say. In education research, we are rarely trying to claim that we have discovered the truth once and for all. Instead, we are often claiming that what we are saying might be true because it adds to our understanding of a particular situation. So, why do we use the word truth in education research? We use it to help test our ideas so that the arguments we put forward are tested as rigorously as possible. It might be better to think of truth not as a final answer, but as a measure applied to different kinds of argument. Often we test the truth of an argument by looking at supporting data. For example, if something occurs 99% of the time, we are more likely to say it is true than if it occurs only 50% of the time. Similarly, we tend to say things are true if the concepts used to explain them are internally coherent. If, on the other hand, part of the explanation does not fit or sounds contradictory, we are less likely to claim the explanation is true. The focus of this podcast is the consensus theory or common sense theory of truth. According to this theory, we are more likely to claim that something is true if more people within a particular group are in agreement. So, at a staff meeting, if only one person is backing a particular change to the way something is done, it is less likely to seem like a good idea. The important point to note here is that if more people begin to back the particular change, the grounds for change will seem more justifiable or truer, even if the idea is exactly the same in both instances. The consensus theory of truth tells us a lot about how we are as people. Examining this theory forces us to confront the ways in which we are able to accept some evidence and ignore other evidence because of our relationship with the person or people supplying it. This theory also helps us to understand the ways in which groups function so that certain ideas to be common sense, whilst other ideas, which some members might actually prefer, appear strange or unreliable. Once again, the key to understanding this theory is to realize that we accept certain things as true, not because of good evidence or sound arguments, but because we see ourselves as belonging to a group that ought to take certain types of truth for granted. One of the problems of consensus is in relation to use of focus groups to gather data. Focus groups are prone to supplying data which reflects favourably on the group member with most power and prestige. The difficulty emerges when other group members wish to be associated with this group member and alter their answers accordingly. The data emerging from the group might, at first glance, seem more reliable because there is widespread agreement, but a researcher would need to unpick and test the answers using other research methods. Similarly, consensus can be harmful to academic inquiry when we are prevented from asking difficult questions about what is happening and why things are being done a certain way because there is consensus that these questions ought not to be asked.